Welcome to the First Descendant. We're going to be diving into top weapons in this game. There's going to be a meta at some point. The game's not even a week out. There's a lot of weapons people already love, and I want to break that down for you here on a couple of them. We have a giveaway for the community as a thank you. Make sure you check that out in the comments. You can enter just by leaving a comment and being subscribed, and we'll select winners for giving out free codes to games. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So, first things first is there's plenty of weapons, and I actually am making this a full series where I break down a lot of different games, and it's not going to just be one gun or the other. We're going to have multiple different styles. We'll have some sniper, long range aspects, and then also detailed boss fights and things like that. So look out for that in the channel. That out of the way, here we are. First and foremost, I want to just say you want to have a very close range. And this is why I said this is more just like a beginner friendly top list, top 3 suggested. Handgun specifically gives you the best mobility. So if I pulled out the #1 weapon that we all know, hope you know what this is, right? This weapon right here is considered the best, but you can see my run speed here. Not so bad, but compare that to this where I'm full sprinting. It's a big difference. So you want that for certain boss fights. You're going to need it. And just for farming and moving around, better. So having a submachine gun or a handgun is good. We're going to start off with the submachine gun that everybody should have, the Thunder Cage. It comes with the story at the very first couple hours. You can unlock it and you should have that. But me personally, I am rocking the Devotion. There's been a Devotion in every looter shooter, I guess, but this Devotion right here is special. I've been having fun with it playing as Valby. I have a Valby build guide that I'm gonna be having for the channel for you guys, but this right here, oh man, this thing slaps and I love it. So you definitely gonna want to pick up something like this because you can definitely do some work and you're gonna just stay mobile and you're gonna be able to keep doing your thing. I'm rocking Ajax right now, but again, top tier weapon. And the way I play it, when I play Valby, for example, literally moving and screwing and just enjoying the flow. So I'll jump in and out of her main ability, and once I'm out of it, I'll end up just shooting real quick, jump back in it, for example, run around and just have fun like that. And it's a very cool setup with a handgun, specifically because your mobility, you still feel fast. You're not stuck in mud with the long weapon. Don't get it wrong, this weapon is best, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But again, submachine gun or handgun as your primary weapon of choice. Okay, personally, I put the handgun as my primary, and if I want to put a submachine gun, I will, depending on what I'm doing. But here comes the big daddy. So that's the first one, Devotion. Give it a shot. This isn't too hard to find, guys. I played through the story without trying, picked up 2 of these already, so you can get one as well. Now the Tamer is a little bit tricky here. This is currently the meta of the game, but it's not what it seems. Okay, the sustainability is what makes it great. Okay, the DPS isn't how the game works, and I have a guide video breaking down DPS and information about that. But over here, the key thing is you have to take into account all the different things you put into the build, which we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But with this weapon, you can really melt bosses and take enemies down. You can see that big guy just literally got inflated or exploded. And so with this weapon, you're gonna still put out good damage, but you have to be a little more. So look how slow I am, and I'm holding it full tilt, and even moving this way, it's like I'm a turtle. So you definitely don't want to do that, and you want to stay on track and have those mobile weapons. So that's the first tip before we get into the weapons. But the Tamer is literally the kingpin. It's the one that I've beaten. The Hangman, Pyromaniac, I've always had it on for those 2 bosses. Luckily, and I love having it for boss fights. But in the open world, again, I'm going to be running a lot. It's not necessary. And just have a more free-flowing weapon that you can dodge some shots and get some work in. Okay, so that's number 2. We're gonna go to number 3, and again, I would not put these in order because, as you know, the actual ammo type matters. So I wouldn't put this in order. I actually have snipers here or launchers for the most part, and I use shotguns once in a while. But this bad boy right here has been pretty fun. If I want to change up my playstyle, I'll put this on. This is kind of like a hybrid, and it's one of my favorites, and I'll showcase it real quickly, give you guys a rundown. This is the co-op Sonic, okay? And so what I love about this is that my mobility is decent, even though, you know, I'm rocking this bad boy. Even aiming down sight can be tough, but guess what? From up close, I could just use it like a machine gun. Imagine that. So, pretty good damage. And then when you really need to focus fire, you don't really need to scope too much in this game. But if you have to, you can. And again, I could shoot from this far and still hit this big guy with this weapon. So it just shows you how much damage it's doing. Imagine when you optimize this and you put on the right mods and everything that you need, you're going to be able to go crazy with this thing, in my opinion. So make sure you check those out. And any of these 3 combined together is going to be a good setup for you, right? Because you don't want to make the Tamer your primary weapon. You want to have something a little lighter so you won't move like a turtle the whole time. And so that's number 1 and number 2 and number 3. So put 2 of these into your loadout, in my opinion. Of course, I said the Thunder Cage is going to be in there just because that's what people have. And I'm showcasing mainly the ultimate weapons because there's too many rare ones to get into. But I did want to talk about snipers, and I just don't want to even put one on. But the point is you're going to need a sniper for a boss fight. It can help drastically. Stay away from him because you're hurt, but you can still do DPS for your team. I can't do strong DPS from a million miles away, even though I'm hitting them. My actual damage should be dropping, which it isn't. Kind of interesting. But that's a damage whip should drop more than it is now. Okay, I was doing 22 from that far, and the damage drop off is pretty far. But in a boss fight, sometimes you might need to be away, and that's where you can get more damage in. So being able to do knowing all that, and having a long range weapon as your 3rd option for when it's necessary, having a mobile one, and then that very cool one that you might like the Tamer. Okay, those are key in my opinion, and I do have some key videos talking about things like modules, top modules that should be popping up right now. Make sure you enter that giveaway so that you have a chance to win different games. But make sure, go ahead and watch the next video, which is going to be about top mods. See you there.